Welcome back to Conscious Straight Talk with Katie and Lindsey.
Hello.
I'm so happy to see you again today. I hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving, or at least made some pretty fun memories.
Exactly. And I hope you had power, because here in Southern California, we didn't have power.
Did not. Yeah, no. I know a lot of restaurants were closed, and
my house was closed, just no power.
All the stoplights were off.
Yeah,
I couldn't even get a phone line. I wasn't even, my
phone
wasn't
nothing.
even working.
I had nothing.
So, good times.
Yeah.
And now we've got the Thanksgiving emotional hangover to deal with.
Right. Even though we didn't have a Thanksgiving.
What I want to talk today about is having an awareness kind of around our brain's process and our reactions to triggers, because it's really important to understand what's going on in there. Otherwise, I mean, I lived for ages being really frustrated with myself, having these like reactions and then being like, why do you react that way? Why were you doing that? And today we really want to take some time and help you understand that a little better. So as we experience trauma, okay, our brain records those traumas, those feelings in little neural pathways, and they stay forever. They're in there until we face them and rewrite them and heal them.
The bad feelings and the trauma. It also records the good feelings too.
But those bad feelings are in there, and when we get triggered, that comes right up quickly to us. And that will trigger our fight, flight, freeze, or fawn modes.
Yes.
Do you want me to tell it?
Yep. Sure. Okay. So we have two different types of nervous systems. Number one is, I don't want to go too into detail because I do not want to confuse everybody, but number one,
it's good to understand these things.
Yes,
so
it's very good.
Happening inside.
And a lot of you guys are going to know when I say the sympathetic nervous system, because a lot of people talk about that. But first we have our parasympathetic nervous system, and that's our calming, it's our sleep, it's our digestion, it's the good side, should I say. Well, that's not true. The sympathetic, they both play a great role, okay?
Right. We need both. Balance.
We need both.
I kind of look at it like the parasympathetic is the calming and the sleeping, and the sympathetic is
the sympathetic is the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Okay, so
let me give survival mode.
It's your survival. It's where the adrenaline comes. It's what saves us if we're in a terrible position. Lots of times it saves us. I'm going to give an example. Okay, so let's say Lindsey and I went on a hike, because we're in hiking area around here, but we also have mountain lions. So we go at dusk because we're not too bright on this day. We're not thinking clearly because, anyways, and so we see a lovely mountain lion. Now, personally, I have an affinity for mountain lions, but I like them behind bars, Anyways, so the mountain lion, we see the mountain lion, the mountain lion sees us. Our sympathetic nervous system goes, and takes over. So let's just say I decide to run. Probably not a good choice with a mountain lion, because then the mountain lion's going to chase me, and then I'm not going to be around anymore. Okay,
and I would freeze, because that's what I do.
Freeze, so
trying to take a picture.
Right, she also would die,
and then come get me.
So they get me, and then they go and get her, and then there's fight. And actually, fighting can work with lions. Not that I've had personal experience, but you do want to throw rocks at them, etc. You do. No, you really do. You want to throw rocks. You just want to scare them, and you want to keep your eyes on them. And a quick little story. A quick little story is in India with tigers. They wear masks on the back of their head with eyes, so that if a tiger sees them, they see the eyes from the back and from the front, because mountain lions, tigers, they like to get you from the back. Just have to go into my mountain. I love animals, clearly. And then there's fawn, which is newly added, and this is it's basically like being a sycophant, which probably most people don't know, which is like a flatterer. And I'm going to let Lindsey explain this to you more, because this is a newer term.
The mountain lion
the mountain doesn't work with the mountain lion.
You would be like, oh, you're a beautiful lion.
Right.
You're calm.
Yeah.
You're so nice.
And then mountain lion would eat you again. So, but at least we made friends with him.
So anyway, but that's a good example of the four responses that the sympathetic nervous system.
But I think
sympathetic nervous system kicks in. But those are being activated by our neural pathways. That's what I want to talk to you guys about for a minute. Okay. So now you have an understanding of what happens when the neural pathway gets activated. I want to give you guys an example of what an actual neural pathway is. And I heard this example a little while, like a couple of years ago, and it's always just stuck with me because it's such a great
So great
way
example.
of understanding what's going on in here.
In your brain.
Okay,
Yep.
so compare your brain. You have all these neural pathways and all these other little things in your brain to a forest. Okay, so it's like a forest. You live in the middle of this forest. You have a path that goes to a really nasty, mean neighbor. So you don't travel this path very often. But when you do, or when it gets activated, it's all thorny and prickly and causes all kinds of problems, right?
Sympathetic takes over, just so you know.
Yep, that's your sympathetic pathway.
Yeah.
So you also have a path to town, which is clear and nice and comfortable, and it stays always
Open
in good
and fresh.
condition.
And that's your parasympathetic.
Now you've had a new neighbor move in over on the other side who's
A nice one.
really nice,
Yeah,
and
really
you want to
nice.
get to know that person. So you decide to build a path through the forest, right? Just like building a neural pathway through your brain. So you start to build this pathway. You have to clear stuff, cut stuff down, deal with the junk, get rid of it,
Thorns, get rid of the thorns.
pound down that path so that it stays and it's there, and within a month, right? Probably maybe even 2 or 3 weeks, with conscious attention every day, that path is clear and beautiful. Now, this is the same as the neural pathways in our brain, okay, if that makes sense to you. The more that you draw conscious attention to the thorny path, right, and you handle that thorny path, and you clear that path out of your mind, and don't let it, don't
over
let that
your brain.
unhealed trauma keep playing a part in you, right? And if you consciously every day focus on building this new pathway,
Right.
it's going to work. It's going to be in there. And the trick is that once you bring the subconscious to your conscious, your brain has to deal with it. So if it's no longer just sitting quiet under there anymore, your brain is going to have to process and deal with that. And that's the first step in understanding and knowing, okay, this is there. I'm affected by this experience. I need to put some attention to my inner child, or my childhood, or my teen years, or my 20s, or my marriage.
Relationships or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you can rebuild those. So I want to talk, I hope you have, did that kind of make sense? Do you have a little
That
bit
made
of
a lot,
understanding?
yeah, that made it really
Okay.
helped me, actually.
Because
Even-
now I'm going to push you. I know
Oh.
you haven't done this yet. Oh, you want to
But
add something?
yes.
Please.
I just want to say that with trauma, I deal with a lot of trauma as a therapist, and it's just something that I'm drawn to. And what happens normally, and sometimes I see people in their 70s, is that they don't deal with the trauma.
Yeah.
And then eventually I compare it to a pan of, or a big pan of simmering water. And eventually it keeps bubbling up and up and up and up, and then it goes over the top,
Right.
and it goes into the fire, and it makes a big explosion. And that's a lot of times when people come into most of the time, when
Yeah.
people come into my office because they've had a complete breakdown, because they have not dealt with the trauma, because
Right.
it eventually comes out.
And turns into PTSD and CPTSD.
Angry,
with nightmares. and-
anger, substance
mood
abuse,
swings,
mood swings, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry.
So the first step we want to do with you guys today, right, is to take action, right? Because that's why we're all here. We want to be healthier, better people. So I'm
Happier.
going to give you a little exercise that I do that, yes, you're going to look at me and be like, Lindsay, you are crazy. But I'm telling you, I've walked so many people through this. I actively have been practicing this myself for years, for a long time. Science is behind me. There's so many scientific studies that have been done at this point that prove that this actually works.
Yep.
Okay, guys? So what I'm going to tell you to do is talk to yourself. Okay? That's because your brain doesn't acknowledge who is saying something. It just hears it. It doesn't hear Katie telling me, oh, you look pretty. It just heard you look pretty, and it released some serotonin, right? It doesn't hear Bob over there telling me, oh, I love that work that you did. That post was amazing. All it hears is that, hey, you wrote a good post that connected, and it goes. So it works the same. If you're saying these things, your brain is going to hear it, and it's going to process it to be true and release that, giving you a little bit of a mental boost. So this can even be done if you're like really frustrated in the office and like about to blow, or, you know, the kids are like driving you nuts. Take 2 minutes, go look yourself in the mirror, look in the eyes, right? And I'll just share with what I do in the morning. And I say,
Share with us.
I
Share
say,
so that we know.
good morning, gorgeous. You are deserving of love. You are capable and resourceful, and you got this. Go make your dreams happen. go get it, girl. And then I leave. And I say that to myself. If I'm in a situation that's tough, the kids, the office, you know, a friend, whatever, I'll take a minute. I'll go look in the mirror and I'll tell myself, no, you are strong, you are capable, and you are worthy of love. So I want to invite you guys to start this practice. If you can do this up to 7 times a day, it takes literally 2 seconds. Anytime you walk past a mirror, look at yourself and say this. You will be creating your own brand new neural pathway that will start to overcome all the other nasty pathways that we are going to be working on rewriting in the upcoming weeks and in our masterclass. So you guys really need to get signed up for that masterclass.
Do you want to teach me how to do it?
I want you. I'm going to have, she hasn't started doing it yet.
So
I'm going to have,
hasn't started doing this.
I'm going to make her do it for the first time so you guys can kind of see someone else doing it. You saw me doing it. Go ahead. Look at yourself and tell yourself something great.
Good Katie. Does that work? Hi, lovely Katie. Yeah. You are productive, you're capable, you're a really good friend, you're really loyal, you're a good mom, you're a good child, and you're smart. Did I say enough?
You can say whatever you want. It's your time.
I think that's it, because I can't think of anything else.
So, and see, it's a
You're
little
awesome,
bit awkward.
Katie.
It's a little bit awkward
Lindsey.
to get started,
Okay.
but as you do it, it just becomes secondhand.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, all of the top executives, the most successful people, they all talk to themselves. They all are their biggest cheerleaders. So it's a great thing to do. And I really want you guys to head over to MalibuMamaLoves.com and sign up for the masterclass. It's free. We've got worksheets. I just need you to put your email in so I can send you those worksheets. And we are going to dive into this stuff in so much more depth and really create healing. And we wanted to try to create a new some kind of a group, a private group where we can all interact together.
On Facebook?
Yep. And within our community, and really just allow that power of community healing to grow. So we really want to get you guys involved.
Yeah.
And on Monday, let's see, what are we on Monday we have a really exciting show coming up called Train Your Brain.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to be talking more about these neural pathways. But for today, this is the first step. Start talking to yourself.
Yes.
You can do it.
7 to 10 times a day.
Everybody does it. We just don't tell each other.
Well, we all talk to ourselves. It's just that usually we say negative things to ourselves.
And this is how we're going to create
So we're going to
positive.
flip that.
Yep.
That's right.
And the science is behind it. It works, you guys, so try it.
Yes. Leave some comments for us if you feel like it.
If you like this video,
comments.
give us a little thumbs up down there.
That's a thumbs up. Not down. Thumbs up.
All right.
Yes.
See you guys on Monday. Have an awesome, awesome weekend.
Have an amazing Friday.